Moving on's never easy, especially if you have no one to pass the torch to. Just ask the Bucks. Who's going to play quarterback now that Brady's gone? Or who do you leave your company to if your son's an idiot?
Forget it, I quit. I can't do this anymore, man. My head's about to explode. My whole life sucks. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know where I'm going. My dad just died. We just killed Bambi. I'm out here getting my ass kicked, and every time I drive down the road, I want to jerk the wheel into a bridge embankment.
Just like in politics, we have succession plans. And it's no secret in Washington that Biden's time's running out and that Democrats want someone younger. For them, that guy was supposed to be Mayor Pete. And since Pete was only just a mayor, they had to give him a job to beef up his resume. So they gave him transportation secretary. The job was supposed to literally transport him into the White House. How do you screw that job up? Well, Pete found a way. Transportation secretaries don't have scandals, but Pete does. From the supply chain crisis to the airline drama to paternity gate, Pete was bricking layup after layup after layup. Already on thin ice, a toxic train wrecked in Ohio town, and Mayor Pete didn't speak about it for nearly 2 weeks. But Pete was too busy campaigning. He took 23 interviews the first 10 days after the accident, didn't mention the toxic train wreck once. Now Pete's upset. Not about the people the train probably poisoned. Team Pete is leaking that, quote, he's taken a lot of bullets for the president on this. This isn't how the succession plan was supposed to shake out. Right as Democratic power brokers were trying to yank Kamala off the ticket, sneaky Pete was supposed to be creeping in. But Pete was too worried about the job that he wanted and not the job that he had. And now Pete's presidential campaign is derailed. And that's the only derailment he cares about. So Pete's been shamed into pretending to care and had to drag himself out of bed this morning and visit East Palestine after former President Trump did. Not a good look. Pete borrowed a hard hat, slapped on some safety goggles and someone else's construction vest, and snuck into town at 7 a.m. when everybody was either still sleeping or getting ready for work. Sneaky Pete went to shake some hands with the same white construction workers he called racist. But Pete's photo op backfired because he looked like he was wearing a Halloween costume. Isn't there a song that goes along with that? Not since Dukakis put a tank helmet on and John Kerry slapped on a spacesuit has a presidential candidate look so goofy. But Pete started squirming the second the questions came.
Mayor Pete, why did it take you an entire 2.5 weeks to actually get here to respond to East Palestine? Will you apologize to the residents of this city for the slow response, to the government's slow response? Do you have any apology?
I'm this press person. I can help you.
Sure. So can we ask why it took him almost 3 weeks to get here?
I'm sorry, I don't want to do this on camera.
So Pete won't apologize, but Pete's woman will. You just have to turn off your cameras so it doesn't look like Pete did anything wrong. This is like Rudy visiting Ground Zero 3 weeks later and wondering why people are asking him questions. It's too little, too late, Petey. And everybody there knows that. Well, everybody but Pete.
What do you say to residents who say you're too little, too late?
I say that we're with residents right now.
Mr. Secretary,
we're going to be here before, as we were in the first hours.
Why did it take you 3 weeks then, Pete Buttigieg?
Finish my answer to the first?
Well, we're saying it's too little, too late because it took you 3 weeks to get here. Is that okay to you as the Department
I can't tell
of
I can't tell what
Transportation
the question is,
Secretary?
but I'm on my way to answer a lot
The
of
question is, do you think that you've done a good job as the, Secretary of the Department of Transportation?
Yes, I'm proud of what FRA and PHMSA have done here from day one.
So Sneaky Pete says he's proud that it took him 3 weeks to show up to a toxic train wreck. And he wouldn't have had it any other way.
Would you still be here if President Trump wasn't here yesterday?
Yeah, the timing of my visit is based on trying to be here with the community, but also trying to not be in the way of NTSB. Maybe I got that timing right, maybe not. But the most important thing for me right now is that doesn't wind up allowing people to change the subject and block needed rail regulation.
Again,
I'm on my way to the media availability, but
appreciate you.
Can you ask Biden why he was able to go to Ukraine before visiting the people of East Palestine, please? Can you ask Joe Biden that?
Why is Pete riding an SUV into East Palestine? Hasn't the town been polluted enough? So Pete shows up before anybody notices, hides behind white construction workers, runs away from reporters, and doesn't talk to a single resident. I didn't see Pete hugging anybody. I didn't see Pete drinking the water. The guy didn't put his arm around a single person and tell him everything's going to be all right. And this is the guy Democrats think can be president? Kiss a baby, skinny dip in a creek, Pete. Tell the rail company you're going to throw him in prison. By the way, the rail company could have prevented all of this. Alan Shaw's conductors didn't even hit the brakes until the third warning. Listen.
I can tell you this much. This was 100% preventable. The train passed 3 wayside defect detectors, which identify overheated bearings. Upon passing the third detector with a temperature of 253 degrees above ambient, a critical audible alarm message sounded, instructing the crew to slow and stop the train to inspect the hot axle. And the wheel bearing failed. Car number 23 derailed.
So Norfolk Southern ignored 3 warnings that their train was overheating. And when it was time to hit the brakes, it was a little too late. So yeah, I don't know if you can blame Trump for this one, guys. If I was an East Palestinian, I'd sue the pants off Alan Shaw. Mayor Pete knows this falls on the rail company, but he's still going around blaming Trump and even blaming reporters for doing their job. Mayor Pete, who didn't talk about the toxic train wreck for almost 2 weeks, is upset about misinformation.
There's no question that there have been enormous amounts of both information and misinformation injected into this situation, none of which is to the benefit of the community when it comes to that misinformation. So I lost my train of thought.
Is that supposed to be a joke? Because we've covered Pete for a couple years and he never loses his train of thought. That's why people want him instead of Kamala, because he can actually talk. But maybe Pete's onto something. He wants to be president, so he's following in Joe's footsteps. He's ignoring problems, he's blaming misinformation, and then sticking his foot in his mouth. Maybe I'm wrong about Pete. He's got this presidential thing down. Lie to everybody, and then tell them the water's safe, and then blame misinformation when people don't trust you. It's like the COVID playbook all over again. Don't go there and tell these people they're victims of misinformation when the government's the one that's been lying to them, telling them the water's fine and then going out and breathing in the air. Go out there, hand out some bottled water, kiss some babies, wrap your arms around them. Don't go there 3 weeks later and tell them to do things you should have been doing.
The country should be wrapping their arms around the people of East Palestine, not as a political football, not as an ideological flashpoint, not as a gotcha moment, but as thousands of human beings whose lives got upended through no fault of their own. And I think that includes visits, not just big official visits from the government, but just people who've seen the news and whose hearts go out to the community here.
Again, our producers poured through footage all day, and we couldn't find a single image of Pete wrapping his arms around anybody in East Palestine. Pete didn't have time to hug anybody. He had to get back to private time with Chasten.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.